Hi there, my name is Marina Newington, founder of PowerSystem, and I help entrepreneurial women turbo boost their productivity so they can get more stuff done even when they don't want to. So today I'm going to talk to you about my 7 top tips to structure the perfect day. So if you are a female entrepreneur that has your own business working from home, then you know everything there is to know about working from home already. But what's really interesting is that during this whole COVID situation, lots of people who haven't had to work from home before have now been working from home. So they are now on board with the work from home brigade, and they've discovered that there are a lot of advantages from working from home. So as you know, we can determine our time freedom and we can work when we want, how we want, for how long we want. These are really great things. We can focus on what we need to focus on with minimal distractions from the office, but we have other distractions and other challenges in working from home. So there are distractions from children and pets and social media in a big way. There is an issue with accountability. Because when you're working alone from home, it's hard to find that level of accountability, and sometimes that accountability is what really boosts us and motivates us to move forward. And lastly, when I speak to a lot of my clients, they tell me that they find it really difficult not having any sort of commute. So they get up in the morning and somehow there's this home work switch that's supposed to happen. And then at the end of the day, there's this home work switch that's supposed to happen, but it's really hard to find where that line is in order to switch off from work and start your home life again. And in the morning, where that fuzzy line is where you start working. So I want to talk to you about my 7 top tips to structure the perfect day so that you could really get the most out of your day and you could really benefit from it. But at the same time, it's not just about work. It's about how to structure your day so that you fit in all the things that are important to you at the times when you can get the most benefit from them. So let's dive in, and I'm going to take you through these 7 steps. So I have them here. Number 1 is about your home commute. Okay, so this is the thing I was just talking about, where it's really hard to sometimes make that switch in the morning and in the evening but in the morning, let's talk about right now, about not having a commute to work to get you into work mode. So it's important to have this commute feeling so that your mind knows that it's time to switch off from playtime and switch on to work time. It's time to get serious. It's time to get focused. So there are a few things that you can do in order to give yourself a home commute. Now, I hate it when people do this too much, but this one definitely gets to this. So one thing that you can do is firstly get yourself grounded, establish a really good morning routine. So once again, with my clients, one of the first things I do is I help them realize that they need to make themselves a priority in their own lives. And one of the best ways to do that is by getting grounded through meditation, morning pages, journaling. So if you can do some sort of practice to switch on in the morning and say, okay, I am awake, and this is what I am doing before I start the day, before I get into everything, then that's a really good tool to use. Another one is, okay, you're gonna laugh, but get dressed. Okay, a lot of times when you work from home, there's this temptation, I'm gonna work in my pajamas. Listen, you need to get dressed because it sends a signal to you, first of all, that you're serious about what you're doing. And also, if you end up having calls for people, if you get Zoomed by someone from a professional capacity, then you're always ready and you're always switched on. Maybe you don't have your makeup on, that's okay. But if you're at least in your yoga bottoms instead of your pajama bottoms and you make an effort to get dressed and get yourself ready for the day, that's going to mentally make a big difference for you. Okay, the next one is to give yourself a physical commute. All right, so get out of the house and do a 10-minute walk around the block. Or even better, this is a great time to get some exercise. So that's what I do. When I get up in the morning, I take my daughter to school. I'm actually alternating with my husband right now, which is lovely. But I take my daughter to school, and then I do some exercise. So I do weight training on Mondays and Fridays. I do Pilates twice a week. Now that the tennis courts are open, and if I'm lucky, I get a tennis court in on Tuesday. I have a morning walk arranged with a friend every Thursday. But I do these things first thing in the morning. So I'm not getting up at 10 o'clock, all right? I'm still getting up. I'm probably getting up later than I used to before this whole COVID thing. But I'm still getting up at about 7:15. I get up, I do my meditation, and then I get into the exercise, and then I take a shower and I start work. And I start work latest by 10 o'clock and 10:30. And then I'm good to go. I'm focused until lunch. And I have a good solid 2 hours where for me, I can get really, really good, solid, productive work done. So this leads me into step 2, which is to establish a morning routine. Now, establishing a daily routine. Now, this is really important, okay? So everyone has different times of the day when they are at their most productive. And productive can mean different things to different people. It doesn't mean that you can only, for example, do work in the morning and then the rest of the day is a washout. What it means is that there are certain kinds of work that you are better at different times of the day. And it's really important to figure out what that is for you, and then optimize your day around that and build your work schedule around that. And if you don't know when that is for you exactly, then start keeping a log of what tasks you do and how long it takes you to do them. And you're going to start seeing what times of day you do certain tasks better and what times of day you do other tasks better. If it takes you, for example, to write copy for a social media Facebook post. Okay, so if in the morning you can do that in 15 minutes, but in the afternoon it takes you half an hour to do that same task, then you're better at creating copy in the mornings, that your mind is working that way better. Does that make sense? So, for example, for me, in my morning slot from 10:30 till about 1 p.m., 1:45, I really focus on content creation. And that's when I'm writing my blogs, I'm writing my newsletters, I'm working on those sorts of things that really require that kind of focus. Then I go and I make lunch for the family. We all have lunch together. And then I have my afternoon sessions. In my afternoon sessions, I tend to do other things. I do my calls with clients. I do other Zoom calls and business development. I'm working on my course, which I'm putting together for you guys, which is going to come out in October. And I'm so excited for that. But that's the time that I work on, more big picture developmental things. So that's the time for me when I work that way. But it's up to you to figure out what is the best structure for you. But build your day around that. And if it means getting up a bit earlier because you're really super sharp in the morning, then get up a little bit earlier. Okay, get up at 6:30 if that works for you. I know it's popular, this notion of get up at 5 o'clock and get loads of stuff done. If that doesn't work for you, then it's not going to help you to get up at 5 o'clock. You have to figure out what works best for you. But stick to that. All right. Sometimes people are really productive in the evenings. And if you are, then schedule for that. But don't just keep working into the evening. I'm going to get to that point in a second. So the next one I want to talk to you about, step 3, is about creating a workplace that works for you. Now, I ran a whole 5-day challenge about dealing with workplace overwhelm and creating an amazing environment for yourself. And I have a great blog that I did all about creating the perfect home office environment. And I'm going to attach a link to that at the end of this vlog. But what I want to tell you is that there are a few basic things that you have to keep in mind. First of all, you have to find an area of the home that is your designated work area. If you can have a home office, that is excellent. And that is, of course, the best possible scenario. And I have all sorts of tips and tricks about how to make that home office work really well for you. But first of all, even if you don't have a home office per se, you need a designated space where you work from. And it needs to be a place that has a desk. Okay, even if it's the kitchen table, you need to sit at a desk, not on a sofa, not from bed, not lazing. You need to sit at a desk to do your work. Okay, and depending what kind of work you do, whether you have a printer near you, depending on what you need, whether you have a recording next to you, the way I have, I'm looking at my little tripod that my phone is on. Whatever it is that you need, make sure that you have all of that set up in your work area. Now, there are two basic pieces of equipment that you really, really need to have for working from home. Number one, and this is really important, is to invest in a comfortable chair, because you spend a lot of time sitting in that chair working from home, and it's worth investing in a comfortable office chair so that you don't give yourself problems in your body, so you don't hunch up your shoulders, so you don't, you want support, you want it comfortable. Number two, and you're going to laugh at me, number two is to have a door that closes. This is so important. You need to be able to close a door so that you can avoid distractions from all the other things that are going around at home. Okay, so if you are not able to be in a place where the door closes, at least have other people out of your line of vision so you can focus exclusively on what it is that you're doing. Okay, now the next thing, step 4, is to manage your time. Okay, I can talk for hours on this one topic alone about managing your time. Managing your time is so important. Developing a system that works for you on an annual basis, a monthly basis, a weekly basis, a daily basis. But there are just a few things that I'm going to say about that. So I dive into all of this in lots of my blogs. You can check out my website. In last week's blogs, Monthly Planning 101, I talked about how to do a monthly plan. But the one takeaway I want to give you right now is I want to talk to you about, on a daily basis, people do loads and loads of to-do lists. Okay, I don't know, to do or not to do. I don't know if you are a to-do list person or if you're not a to-do list person, but most of us have these to-do lists and then we try to check things off. Now, here's the pitfall with this, and here's a really good strategy for managing your time on a daily basis. If you have a whole list of things that you're supposed to do, and you only tick off, 3 things, you're going to look at that list and you're going to feel like a total failure. And you're going to say, you know what, I wasn't able to do anything. I didn't get anything done, and you're going to feel bad about yourself, and it's not going to motivate you to do more the next day. Now, if you can pick the 3 things that you need to accomplish that day, okay, and you write them down, 1, 2, 3, you write them down, the 3, 4 things that need to be done that day. You put them on a sticky note and you put them on I put them on my planning board. Then you know that no matter all the other things that there are going around, buzzing around, that need to get done, all your open loops, there's another great blog for you about open loops, all the things that need to get done. If you get those 3 things done, tick, 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 then you have had a super productive day, my friend, because those are the top 3 things that you needed to do and you got them done. Now, figuring out what those things are, that's another story altogether. So, it's really important to tie your daily tasks into your weekly task, into your monthly tasks, into your annual goals. All right, like I said, this is a bigger topic and I'm going to move on from this right now. But if nothing else, if you can write down the 3 things that you need to get done today, the 3 things you need to get done today, and then you tick them off, then you're going to feel great at the end of the day that you got those 3 things done and you will have been productive. Okay, now the next thing is dealing with distractions. Big sigh. This is really tough. This is really tough. And it requires some discipline and it requires some action. So first of all, you just need to turn notifications off. There's no way around it. You have to turn notifications off. When you're doing something, you need to focus on doing it. If your email going off is just too delicious and you just have to see what's going on, turn the notifications off. If your phone is dinging at you all the time and you just can't handle turning all those notifications off, then either there are apps that turn it off, or you know what, turn your phone off completely. And if that's not even enough, put it in another room. Put all your other electronics in another room so they are out of sight, out of mind, and focus on what you are doing. When you are writing, write. When you are washing the dishes, wash the dishes. When you are cooking dinner, you cook the dinner. I mean, you can listen to music while you're cooking dinner, but you hear what I'm saying. Don't try to do a million things at the same time, and try to take the distractions out of the equation. It's really hard not to give in to temptation, but if something's not even there, then it doesn't become a temptation. So, you know, if you can even say you're working from a desktop or a laptop, take all the other electronics that you might have, phone, tablets, whatever, Kindle, take everything else out of the room and put it in a different room. And if you just do that to start, then you're going to find that you're going to be able to focus on what you're doing and you're going to get your work done faster. And then, you know what? As you do your daily schedule, what we were talking about before, the other step, you can allocate phone time. You can allocate time for social media. But if you do that, I recommend putting a timer on and give yourself 20 minutes, because otherwise, you know, it could be 2 hours later and you're going to be like, what happened? You know, how the hell did I get here? So if you are going to do that, allocate time, but I would do that at the end of the workday when you are no longer working. Okay, the next one, number 6, is to remember to take breaks. Okay, I wrote another vlog called Breaks Are the New Busy, and I'm going to link to that one here too. Breaks are so important, and you know, this is crazy how sometimes people think that taking a break is like a dirty word. It's a negative thing, and it makes you somehow weak, or it makes you not have a strong enough work ethic because you're taking a break. That is nonsense, my friend. Taking breaks are incredibly important to your creativity and your ability to produce good work, okay? If you just work nonstop, then the level of your ability will peter off. You need to take a break and give your mind the space to regenerate, regroup. So, for example, in my, well, first of all, lunch is the obvious break. Before I say the other thing, I just have to tell you to make sure that you take a break for lunch. Okay, take a proper break, give yourself an hour at least, make a nice healthy lunch for yourself and eat it. Ideally with family members, or if there's no one else around, then do a Zoom call with someone and have lunch with someone. But try to make lunch a proper break and restorative, and don't talk about work, don't think about work. You know, take a proper break. Now, in the afternoons, one of the things that I schedule for myself, one of my daily goals is to have 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. I'm wearing my Fitbit, I'm tracking my steps, and I try to have a 1 hour walk in the afternoons, because that's a really good time for me. About 4:30 or so is my ideal peak time to have a walk outside. So during that time, I will put on my Beats, and sometimes I do a Facebook Live and you see me on those, or I listen to books, audiobooks, or I listen to podcasts, or I listen to digital courses. I try to listen to things that are not directly related to what I'm working on right now. And I just walk. I walk and I listen. And it's amazing when you're kind of not tuning in and you're not concentrating so hard on something, how things come to you. Just the other day, I was thinking about how I can, you know, incorporate coaching into this whole productivity time management thing, because currently I've been doing one-to-one coaching only for PowerSystem, which is a 6-month program. And I was listening to something else entirely. I was listening to James Clear's Atomic Habits, which is such a magnificent book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I think I'm going to do a book review on it, one of these vlogs, because it is just absolutely brilliant. But I was completely unrelated. And then all of a sudden, my mind just kicked in. It's like that shower moment or that 3 a.m. moment when you're not thinking about it. I got this huge aha on how I can, teach this to clients in a coaching method while I'm building the digital course. And, things just all stacked up and fit together. And that's because I wasn't sitting and thinking about it. I actually let myself have a break. So taking breaks are so important. And if you want ideas on what different types of breaks you can take, check out my vlog, Breaks Are the New Busy, because that one's really, really good. Okay, so then we get to number 7, which is to stop working. All right? Stop working. At the end of the day, stop working. This is another pitfall of working from home, and something that my clients, tell me that is difficult for them, and that is when to switch off. It's the reverse idea of that morning commute that we were talking about, is that evening commute. How do you know when to stop working? How do you make yourself stop working? And the thing with that is that you need to schedule that in just the way you do the other things. Now, unless the caveat to this is if you have determined in step 2 when you're planning out your day that you're really super productive in the evening and you've scheduled in time to work in the evening specifically, if you haven't done that, then at the end of the day, whatever it is, before dinner, I recommend stop working. Yeah, so at 6:30, 7 o'clock, whatever that looks like to you, that is when you stop working. And if you have a hard time delineating that, then do a reverse commute, a reverse home commute. Take a walk around the block, and that's the end of your day. Make sure wherever your work area is, you clean up your work area and you put everything away, so you know that is no longer happening now. It is now family time. And allocate time. Make it something that's going to be wonderful for you to look forward to. Okay, you're done working, and now it's time to spend time with family. It's time to spend time with friends. It's time to treat yourself and have a glorious bath I love having one with Epsom salts and lavender oil. There are all sorts of things you can do, and this is just a tip at the end of all of this. This is kind of like a number 8, but it's not an 8, it's a bonus tip. Make sure to reward yourself. Okay, this is kind of doing with the thing about accountability that I was talking about at the beginning. And that's a whole other discussion about, having an accountability partner, and there are all sorts of workarounds around it. But when you've worked hard during the day, make sure to reward yourself, okay? Whether that's with a luscious, delicious bath, whether it's a half-hour yoga session in peace and quiet, whether it's, playing on your iPad for half an hour because you've earned it, whatever it is that works for you, reading a book, whatever it is, watching Netflix, whatever your reward is going to be, then give yourself that reward and celebrate it, okay? Because you have worked hard. You ticked off those 3 things that you set up at the beginning of the day that you were going to do. Reward yourself. You deserve it, okay? You deserve that gold star. You deserve the praise, and you deserve to feel good about yourself because you worked hard, you put in the effort, and well done. Okay, well done. Make sure to reward yourself and make sure to celebrate your wins. If you don't know where to do it, then come along to my Facebook group, Female Entrepreneurs Craving Time and Financial Freedom, and celebrate your win there. Okay, tell me at the end of the day, and I will get on and I will give you a personal woohoo. I will give you emojis and I will give you claps, okay, because you deserve it. All right, now I hope this has been helpful and I hope this has been useful, and I really look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.